Hi, my name is Colin Smith, and I would really like to introduce you to an amazing product called Salustra. The research and development of L-Arginine and the way it converts into nitric oxide in the body goes back as far as 1998, and it's where it created a Nobel Prize to be won. This research then was carried out to show that nitric oxide is developed in the artery, but L-citrulline is the amino acid that actually helps to hold onto the nitric oxide so that it's held in the artery long enough for it to have a definite effect on the L-endothelium, the wall of the artery, and also the effects it has on the actual heart. So this information was very valuable information, but it has moved on so much now that we understand the workings of nitric oxide much more, and how combined with other natural ingredients it has such a positive effect on much more than just the cardiovascular health, but it has improved in the effects on the overall cardiovascular health, and also on the overall health of the arteries. This research was the foundation, but as I said, now we've grown much more into understanding how we can actually develop it, such as the Salustra product, how it's developed into being more powerful for people's health, and especially their cardiovascular health. Nitric oxide does several things, very positive things in the system, but one of the things is that it cleans the actual artery wall, and it brings back its proper flexibility, and it does the same with the heart. It cleans out any toxins such as calcification in the actual heart, and it helps to bring back the flexibility. Again, the heart is a muscle, so it needs to be able to stretch properly. Since that, nitric oxide has moved on so much more. We've advanced and understand it, and understand how it works with other ingredients in the system. And that's why the Salustra product has 25 active ingredients in one product, which is quite amazing. The working of them is that some of the ingredients actually help the nitric oxide to work more efficiently, and some of the ingredients are actually supported by the actual nitric oxide. So there's a great combination going on in the actual product. We were introduced to, I suppose, the nitric oxide. We had a clinic at the time that was extremely busy with people with arthritis, but we also had a lot of our clients who had heart problems, and by introducing the product, it had a very positive impact on changing their cardiovascular health. The product was developed, I'd say at least we've changed it at least 6 times, and for that reason we learned from the first formulation that we had of Salustra, and then we went on to develop it more and more. We did this through a medical machine so that we could actually check people before they started on Salustra. And this gave us a great understanding of where their cardiovascular health was at, and then we could check them 3 months, then recheck them 6 months, and with that we could gauge the difference the product was making. The first Salustra powder that we had developed, it had about 14 ingredients in it, and we realized that this had a huge impact on roughly about 60% of all the people that actually came to us. So there was 40% that didn't get the reduction that we wanted. We mainly saw 30 to 40% reduction in people's cardiovascular health, and then as I said, with the rest, we didn't see a huge impact, maybe 5%. So back to the drawing board. We discovered one of the major things through blood analysis. We discovered that the people that weren't getting the great results with the first batch of Salustra was a problem because they had high levels of oxidative damage, or another name for it is free radicals in the system. So what we discovered was the pathway that the nitric oxide should take into your arteries and your heart was actually being pulled off to deal with oxidative damage in the body. Again, oxidative damage is the foundation to a lot of illnesses. cancers, arthritis, and many other different types of problems. The best way to describe oxidative damage is everything stiffens in the body, everything becomes more rigid than it should be. So again, it affects the body's ability to get rid of toxins. It affects the body in many different ways. So the best way to describe it is everything becomes too rigid in the actual system. So when we realised this, we put in selenium. Again, it's a very powerful antioxidant. We don't have it in our soil as much as we did going back maybe 50 years ago. So again, our vegetables are not, our fruit is not as high in selenium that it should be. Very powerful antioxidant, so we put this into the product. The next one we looked at, it had a good amount of research behind us, was the pine bark extract. And it comes from pine bark. It would have about 40 antioxidants in the product. So when we introduced these two ingredients into the product, suddenly we saw that the results were actually working quicker and more efficiently. We went back to the people that we'd done the blood analysis, about 146. When we introduced the new Salustra ingredients, we saw within 2 months their results were coming down where we wanted them to achieve. So we knew that we were on a winner when it came to oxidative damage. One of the other changes that we made, and it was one I was really proud of because it took me a long time to find it. With some of the cardiovascular problems people have, they would be put on a drug called Diavan. And Diavan it's a nice drug in that it opens up the arteries, it'll open up the veins as well. And it means when you can expand the artery, it means the nitric oxide can get in. If there's plaque calcification in the artery wall, once you expand it, you will form cracks, and it meant the nitric oxide could penetrate through those cracks, getting into the endothelium, the lining of the artery wall, and again it would meant that the nitric oxide would dissolve the plaque or the calcification more efficiently, as well as putting the flexibility back into the artery. So I came across an ingredient called octocosnol. It comes from wheat germ. It comes from different sources as well. But what it did was drive more oxygen into the artery. So it helped the nitric oxide by driving more oxygen into the artery, and it also helped it expand the artery slightly so that again the nitric oxide could get in quicker. On doing our medical test with people, we noticed that what would normally take 4 months to get a result was reduced by a month by adding in the octocosnol. So it was one I was really delighted with, to see the effect, the positive effect it had on the system. So some of the ingredients, as I said, are there to support the nitric oxide, and some of them are carried more efficiently by the nitric oxide. We discovered with our clients who had diabetes for maybe many years and who had started to have effects of numbness in the fingers, and especially in the toes. They really get hardship with the toes. In some cases they were just gone numb, there was no feeling in the toes. And this is a great one for what the nitric oxide can do. We added an ingredient called alpha-lipoic acid, but it's a very powerful ingredient, and what we noticed was the people with diabetes, when we gave them the Salustra with the alpha-lipoic acid added to it, it carried the alpha-lipoic acid more efficiently to the nerve endings. So we had amazing reports then back from our clients that had diabetes, saying that they were starting to feel their fingers, their toes, and that the nerve endings were starting to function stronger. Again, the alpha-lipoic acid by itself would have an effect, but would be a very long-term sort of ingredient to take to get a good result. So what we noticed was that the nitric oxide carried the alpha-lipoic much more efficiently to the nerve endings, and the people with diabetes could get quicker results, that they could actually feel the ingredient working for them. And that's really the most amazing thing about the Salustra product, is that the one thing that it does is it drives more oxygen to every part of the body. So when you think about it, and this is how there's clinical trials carried out now on repairing kidneys, on people with dementia, Alzheimer's. There's huge amounts of work in the world being carried out with the likes of Salustra in the effect of nitric oxide in many parts of the body. And that's the main reason why. It drives more oxygen into the body. So if you can carry more oxygen into the body, it means that everything can repair much quicker. It means that ammonia, lactic acid, and many other toxins are taken out of the body much more efficiently. And that's why we support the product. We always recommend that people drink the proper quantity of water when they're on the Salustra powder, because if you think about it, the oxygen levels, the effects of nitric oxide, the effects of many of the ingredients that are in it are breaking down lots of different toxins in the body. And for the body to eliminate it, we need the support of the water to flush it out of the system. And that's why the water and the product are married together in getting the best results for people. So we can see that there's lots of research on nitric oxide, and I really feel that we have, over the 6 years developing the product, we have it really at a really good stage, that we know when I hand it over to someone, my belief and expectation is that it's going to have a really positive effect on their cardiovascular health. We put it to the test by testing, retesting on a medical machine, checking the heart, the arteries. We could look at the individual pulse wave, and how it changed. The formation of the pulse wave was quite amazing. So that's how we knew that the product was working for people, and that we brought it to a really good stage. The other interesting thing is that with this type of product, humans, when we have something good, we tend to sort of want to nearly exaggerate it a little bit, because we really want to see other people doing well. But it's such a genuine product that you don't have to exaggerate it, because it works, yeah, by cleaning out the heart and arteries. It works by, we know, definite pathways in the system. But the most fascinating thing about it is that as we take it, if I took it, if 100 people take it, it works different for me and the 100 people. So in other words, it'll work in definite pathways, but then it'll go off to do different things what that individual needs. With the collection of ingredients in Salustra, it means that it'll work differently with everybody that takes it. So it's going to fill that gap that person actually needs. And that's the most amazing thing. When I give it to people, yeah, I can explain to them it's going to do what I expect, but I say leave it open. You come back and tell me how well you feel on the product, and the difference it has made for you. So I'm so proud, as I said, with the product, the level that we got it to, and I'm so proud that we're able to get it out to so many people now, and I'm so excited, I suppose, to listen to all the different stories that are coming back about the product Salustra.